Gentlemen, I give you our new friend, Vito Scaletta.
How lucky can one guy be? I kissed her. Like the fellow once said, ain't that a kick in the head?
You want to be a tough guy?
My head keeps spinning. I go to sleep and keep grinning. If
gotta go.
My life is gonna be beautiful.
We're here talking the highly anticipated Mafia 2 for the PS3, PC, 360. Yeah, and I mean, it's been a while since that first game, and what I really like about it is the time period. It was a first day buy based on that alone for me. What I didn't know is that they kind of changed the structure. If you're expecting a free roam game, Mike, you're not necessarily going to get one. And why is that?
Well, the thing is, they didn't necessarily change the flow of the game. If you play the actual PC version of the game, it's not very free roam. They're very specific in their levels and what you're supposed to do. But they did change the flow of the game in the sense that they tried to add something free roam and didn't really screw it up. But
it's that there's no reason to free roam.
Yeah, you don't want to do anything. I mean, sure, you can do a mission and then go buy a hat or something. But I mean, how fun is that?
You have to do it on the mission, is the thing. Yeah, it's mission based. So when you fire up the game, essentially every time you start a chapter, you wake up in the morning, you get a phone call, and it's like, oh, it's off to go shoot some guy or drive somewhere. And in between, if you want to stop and buy a Coke or a hot dog or like 50 cups of coffee,
or a jazzy suit,
yeah, you can do that, and that's kind of the free roam aspect. But there's no reason to. You don't feel compelled to do that. You feel like you're like, oh, I should be going over here and, you know, engaging in this shootout or something like that. And that's fine, because the flow of the game, the story, while at the end kind of falls apart, is enthralling. Like, it's very an immersive game, so to speak. And I like the time period. I love it, the music and just the feel of the game and how realistic it is in, let's say, just how the world acts. It's much like Red Dead, where you have like just little random events happening. Like you'll have in Mafia 2, kind of the same thing. People going about their day and doing stuff like that, they just notice kind of on the sidelines. The only thing is you don't really get to live that. It's just kind of a passing by thing while you're on a way to a mission. And that being said, if you're going to plow through the missions, which really is the only thing to do in this game, it's not that long of a game.
It'll still take you a while, but I mean, you're looking maybe like 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah, 10 hours on the harder difficulties, I've heard. I didn't bother going back and replaying it or anything like that. You can collect Playboys, which is, I guess, your replay value.
If you compare this to the first game, though, I mean, if you played it on PC, there was like 20 hours of gameplay in that game. There was so much to do, even though it was a lot more linear than this one is. And to kind of see them take away from that and still take like 6 years to make this game, I don't really know how that happened.
It was really pitched as a free roam is the problem. If you just pitched it as any third-person shooter, I think it would have done a lot better. Because really what the game comes down to is after you get through all the driving chapters, it's just shootouts. It's always wake up, go do a shootout, go to bed. That's how the game is structured. It's very, very kind of strange. But it does, the story itself, I did like.
And the mechanics of the game work well enough, like the duck and cover system, and you know the driving is actually really good. Yeah. There's a variety of different cars.
You can get ticketed for driving too fast.
Yeah, it looks good too.
Yeah.
Regardless whether you're playing on 360 or PS3. Honestly, it's not a bad game. It's just not quite what it should have been. It feels like there's something missing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's a soul missing. But the physics engine is really cool. You can literally shoot up anything and it kind of reacts like it would. It reminded me a lot of Force Unleashed when it first came out, where you can kind of splinter wood and stuff like that, which is kind of neat. Really, it gets monotonous at a certain point. It's just shooting. The Reichsrich's story is really the only reason to play this particular game.
The PS3 title actually has the exclusive, like a preview chapter, or like
in case you wanted more shooting.
I wasn't a big fan of that though. Like I tried it, and it felt like an even weaker version of the game. So
well, because the game's strength is its story. Take that away,
and there's almost
what do you
nothing.
have?
It's almost non-existent in
the soundtrack is great. I have to say that it
Yeah.
has a bunch of licensed songs from back in the day. Songs rather. No, I like Mafia 2 for what it was worth. I really wish they would have opened it up more, almost like a GTA experience where you can kind of choose when you want to start a mission. So I do have the time to kind of wander around. I wish there was more to do in the world of the 1940s. Go to, I don't know, look at Godfather 2 or Godfather 1, like that kind of game. It was its own thing, separated itself from Grand Theft Auto, but still let you free roam and kind of do stuff at your own pace.
Yeah.
Whereas this game's really just kind of go, and it's over much too soon because of that. What do you give Mafia 2?
All things considered, considering it is leaps and bounds ahead of the last console version of Mafia 1, or of Mafia, I should say.
And it ties in, by the way. If you
it
play
does,
Mafia
yeah.
1, there's story elements that we won't spoil anything.
Altogether. But all things considered, I have to give it a 7.5 out of 10.
It's a little higher than what I'm going to give it. I'm going with a 6 out of 10. Again, above average game, a lot of fun, but really, what it comes down to is just a rental.
She's telling me we'll be wet. She's picked out a
See? What did I tell you?
bed.
Piece of cake.
I couldn't feel any better, or I'd be sick.
Hey, ease the whole.
Tell me quick, ain't love a kid?